guys, welcome back to my another channel. This video, it's gonna be like a little mini update real quick in the intro because my family and I had flu for the past like week and a half, so that did brought me time into basically like making videos up and all that good stuff. So on today's video, I wanted to share about my motherhood experience due to the fact that my oldest child turns 5 years old. Okay, well, her birthday was already passed last week Thursday. Today it's a new week. It's Tuesday, March 14th, and her birthday was on March 9th. I will be celebrating her birthday party this Saturday coming up, which will be March 18th. And I just wanted to like share how was like my experience into motherhood for the first time with her, because I know when I started this channel, I started off with my postpartum depression of my second child, and due to all the emotional stress I was going through and everything, caused me a stroke and like a paralysis system. um, all of that still been the same. I feel like I've mentioned before, all these symptoms and everything, it won't go away like ever, and if hopefully it will like subside in the future or something. But due to the fact that right now I have like three small children and babies, and like life freaking happens, I feel like we're never out of like stress, we're never never like freaking calm and stuff like that. So I'm already like mentally prepared myself into thinking and believing that it's always gonna be a part of me. So but I do want to watch out on that. Like, I really do take my health obviously very seriously, especially with like having my children and my kids. So yeah, but enough of that for the moment. Let me just like explain and like embrace like my motherhood journey with like my 5 year old. My baby, her name is Yvette Salome. um Obviously she was the biggest blessing. I did married young. I got married at 18, my husband. um but I was in school at that time. Like, I was focused into school more. Like, I didn't want to right away have children because I had just come out of my home raising my siblings. So I knew the responsibility and the toll it takes into raising a child, but obviously it's never compared to like having your own children. Because like I look back, and even though I was doing the same tasks with raising my brothers, emotionally or like mentally, like I wasn't ready or prepared for like motherhood when it came into like the numerous of like worriness that go through your head. Like, you're responsible of life. Like, you're responsible of a baby. It's like from pregnancy, you're already like making all these changes. Your mindset like shifts. So obviously with raising my brothers, like, that change shift in my head, like, it didn't happen because obviously it wasn't my instinct as like my mother instinct. I'm pretty sure if you have children, if you have kids, you'll understand what I'm talking about. And if you don't, just know that having children comes with big responsibility. It comes with, like, of course, all the good stuff, the loving, the rainbows, and everything, the flowers and rainbows, unicorns. But there is an ugly side of it, and I feel like not a lot of people like embrace that part, where things could look ugly, things could like make you feel very overwhelmed, and issues do come along with it, like health-wise issues and stuff. So I feel like being a parent, you never stop learning. You go just basically how life goes and how that child is being developed into growing. So with that being said, like I said, I'm married at 18, but my mindset was like I didn't want to have kids right away because of course I felt very young. I thought that it's it wasn't that I wasn't ready for kids. It was just like more mentally, like I was drained. I was drained with responsibilities like that. So that was my issue. Then I was finishing college. Like I only had like one semester away while I was doing that semester. And my baby, my middle child, my little menace, I called her. She's a crazy one. She's still crazy, you guys. Also, she turned 3 years old. Her birthday was on February 13th. Yeah, so that's what was going on with me. Like I was going to school. I dedicated full-time school, and I was a wife. Um, and that's what happened. And then suddenly, like I was ready for motherhood. Like my sister-in-law at that time, she was pregnant, and then the baby was born. So that just like gave me like a huge baby fever, because I was just like watching my little niece into growing and stuff. And like, yes, like it encouraged me to have my own child. But then again, my mindset was already like prepared for it, because I was like, well, I want to finish school. I was going to college, all of that. So I thought that it was a great time. Again, being like what, between 7 to 8 years already into marriage with my husband. So I felt that we had coped very well. Like we really, were having the best time of our lives, like together as a couple. Like we've been together for years, and like we didn't have children involved, like we didn't have children at that time. And of course my husband, like he's older than me by 5 years. So he's always loved kids. He's wanted, always, like, wanted to be a father, wanted to be a parent. But he did give me my time, and like supported me with my school, and supported me into like being very mental prepared for it. I'm sorry, you hear my child, like she's over here trying to be a YouTuber. She grabbed my phone and she's like recording stuff. But yeah, so that's what happened. And then I okay, I'm sorry, I won't be too loud. Okay, I'm sorry, I won't be too loud. We will go ahead and talk now. So that's what happened. And I had a huge baby fever. So all of our 3 babies were planned. So obviously this is my first child, so we were like really hyped up, embarking into this new journey and stuff. And like I said, I had like freaking huge baby fever. Like for so long I was so scared of labor, because my sister got pregnant like very young. So my mom traumatized me, because at age 13 she took me into the labor and delivery room to freaking watch my sister give birth to my nephew. And yeah, that was the scariest thing like I've experienced or witnessed as a child. Well, no, that wasn't the scariest thing. But anyway, I have like stories for days. But anyway, let me keep this real short. Um, so yeah, so labor and delivery, like giving birth was my biggest fear ever. And of course my mom tried to give this put this as a lesson in me, to like basically be careful and don't be doing stuff I shouldn't be doing at my age and whatever. So that really like marked me, like I was really scared for birth, like for real. um so so then I was just ready, I was like, okay, well, I'm in my last semester of college. I was doing great, I was like, wow, this is it, I'm gonna embark into a new step in my life and whatever. And there we go, we're there trying to have a baby. We didn't conceive until like 4 to 6 months after. um I was not taking like birth control or any type of things like that, like while being with my husband. um and then we didn't thought about it, like we up to those years, like we didn't get pregnant. So then when we are actually trying to get pregnant on purpose and stuff, um like I wouldn't get pregnant. So it happened like within months. And then it started like questioning it, like concerning, because I'm like, wait, like I thought of like maybe I wasn't able to have kids, right? And like it's just like a lot of like roller coaster of emotions because you don't know what's going on. You're there waiting, and then like every month after month, like it just wouldn't happen for us. So yeah, those were days like where we would be like sad and like depressed, or we were just like questioning, well, what's going on and stuff. Um, until then, like when I actually became pregnant, like I couldn't believe it because the way that happened to me was that I spotted, like it was in my, I thought it was like my regular period, but it wasn't. It was just the implantation process, where it's like where you still spot, and like then your period that you think it's your period, it like cuts off after 2 days, or like a day and a half. So that's what happened to me. Um, and then the way I found out I was pregnant was because I went out to eat with my little sister-in-law. She was like about 10 years old at that time. Yeah, she was like 10 because now she turned 15. She's 15 years old, my sister-in-law. Um, and we went out to eat and stuff. We went to a Mexican restaurant, and the food, like, it just like got me messed up. Like, I got really nauseous. Like, I got really nauseous about it. But then I didn't know if it was because I was pregnant or it was actually the food, because my little sister-in-law, she threw up as well. Like, the food was just not cooked right, or I don't know what was going on that day, that we just felt sick on our stomach, all three of us, me, my husband, and my sister-in-law. So then we're walking back home, and then for some reason, like, I just felt like, oh, maybe I should get a pregnancy test, right? Like, I don't know, I like, again, I had like baby fever, so I was really excited. Yeah, so I went into Rite Aid and I got the pregnancy test. So I go home and I do the pregnancy test, and I'm there like so nervous, nerve-wracking, and whatever. My husband is in the bathroom with me, like doing this pregnancy test. Again, we've been waiting, like we've been wanting to be pregnant. Yes, yeah, it's okay. Um, so I'm there, like I do the test, I put it over the sink, and I'm not looking. I don't want to look. I'm very nervous. Like, he's there in the bathroom with me, and then like I was just like really, when I get anxious, like nervous, like I don't want to see, like, it's like kind of in a way where I just like want to hide, and like don't want nobody like seeing my reaction, or like, I don't know, I just get really really nervous like that. That's the type of person I am. So we're there, obviously reading instructions. This is my first time, well, it wasn't my first time doing a pregnancy test, but I mean, I like, it was another, yeah, baby, it's okay. And we were doing that, right? So I turn around, like, into the, looking into the pregnancy test, and the first line marked, like, real quick and real dark. So obviously I was like, oh, the first line marked, so I knew the second line was gonna freaking mark, because the first line was already in there in the little window screen thingy. And then we're like freaking pregnant. And I wasn't shocked, like always. Like, I don't respond, like I don't cry like right away. Like, it's so shocking news that I just like kind of freeze in a way. And then later on, like, I react, and I was like, what? Like, oh my god, we're pregnant. And that's how like we found out we were pregnant. And then obviously I'm living with my parents-in-law at this time, and like they've been really, she put the freaking light on me. um we've been there for like the same amount of years, like between 7 or 8 years. And I'm telling my mother-in-law like that, like I didn't even like freaking plan it, like, did the little cute pregnancy announcement and all of that. Like, to us it was just like a natural, like we're like, oh, we're pregnant. So I confided in my mother-in-law, like she was the first person who knew after obviously me and my husband. And we're like telling her, and she don't believe it. Like, she's in shock. She don't believe it. Again, me and her son have been already like years together, like, you know, and especially married and all that stuff. So um again, they were very excited. Like, she was telling me, wait, but how do you know, like, what happened? And then I explained to her like about my period situation thing, and she did confirm it. Like, she told me sometimes like that does happen. um you know, it does happen. So like that was my case, that it wasn't a regular period, it was just implantation of my baby, implanting into my uterus and stuff. So that was our pregnancy announcement to the family. First was my mother-in-law, then obviously my father-in-law when he came from work that day, and then my sister-in-law, the oldest sister-in-law. And like that was it. And then from there on, like, it was just history. Like, my pregnancy was the best thing. I was already, like I said, I was doing my second um yeah, I was doing my second internship into doing the hours for my psychologist courses and counseling, because I that was my major. You know, I graduated college finally. um and that's like on a whole nother thing, you know. And I was doing my practice hours. You know, I had to do my internship, I had to put in my work, put in my hours for my towards my degree, and I was doing all of that like pregnant. um it was just a beautiful moment. It was just like everything was like happening, and then, you know, it was so great. I'm here thinking, oh, I'm gonna graduate college because I was done with the semester. But then surprisingly, like, I there were like 3 more courses added into my curriculum. So when I thought I was done that same year, the freaking school program system like added 3 more courses to do. So then that's why I didn't end up graduating on that year 2018, because of these courses that was added into my curriculum. And then of course I had to wait till the next semester to register and do all of that. But I mean, I was already pregnant. A lot of issues was happening. Oh my god, a lot of shit just freaking happens there every time. So we were pregnant. I was there going about enjoying my pregnancy. Then at 35 weeks pregnant, everything was perfect, right? Like my first pregnancy, like boom, it was perfect. It was like going very well, except until like I believe I was, yeah, like 35 weeks. um no, at 35 weeks I started with the itching symptom, which is called sclerosis, yeah. And it's like when you get really itchy, it gets really itchy, and it has something to do with your liver. Like throughout pregnancy, like your liver stops functioning normally, and it could affect the baby. And it's a very dangerous thingy that the baby could, like, you know, literally stop beating, the heartbeat reading, the heart rate like goes down on the baby and stuff, and it could be really dangerous. Sometimes it could be even fatal if you don't take the baby out at 37 weeks because of this thing. So that day I just went on a regular doctor's appointment, and I've been on itching with the palms and of my hands and the palms of my feet and like around my feet, right? And then I told my doctor that like, oh, I've been having this itchiness for like about freaking 2 weeks and a half now, and they're like really concerned about it. They had me admitted into the labor and delivery room and get all these tests done, because they were there, like they told me, okay, because if you get this test that comes back positive, like you're having the baby in the next like couple days. Because I would think I was already like at 37 weeks. I was at 36 weeks and a half, so I just needed a couple of days to turn 37 weeks, and then they were gonna induce my labor or possibly have a C-section on it for my first baby. again, like, it was freaking scary as hell. Like, you're like, what? Like, anything could just be freaking unexpected, like, in a split of a second, like, so there we are, like, freaking worried. We're first time parents, like, obviously I was crying, like, my husband was with me the whole time, but it was really scary for us to hear that the doctors are, like, literally explaining to you your life is on the line, like, like, we need to take the baby out, and if things get complicated, you don't have to get a C-section. Like, it's just really scary words and terms. So I called my mom. I don't know, I'm always call my mom. My mom lives in Delaware State, so she's like far away. But I always tend to call her because, like, that's my mother. Um, and my mom is like, don't worry about it, like, don't stress. It's because you stress a lot. At that time, we were stressing because we were looking for an apartment to move in together with a baby, just the three of us, because obviously the family was growing and I could have no longer stayed in my mother's-in-law's house because I wanted my privacy. I needed my privacy for breastfeeding. I wanted, my whole little family. It was time for me to, like, fly out the nest of my parents-in-laws. And we were looking, but we were here in New York, and it was still hard as hell to, like, freaking find an apartment. Again, like, we didn't have no freaking credit, because at that time, like, credit wasn't a big deal. It wasn't a big thing that it was known to being asked for. It was just slowly starting to be a freaking requirement for an apartment or for whatever, like, to have freaking credit. Obviously, me and my husband, we didn't have, like, credit. Things got really rough for us, and an option for us was, like, either to move to Delaware State, because we knew that, we was gonna find an apartment and rent was extremely affordable, compared to New York prices. And that's what happened. It was either that or going into the PATH shelter system here in New York, where they will help us with a voucher, like, help us get an apartment, but we had to go through this process. And again, I was in the process of a shelter when I was a child. So one of my biggest fears was, like, going through that process, with my child now. Especially because the experience I had was, like, way different. Like, it was really scary. Like, again, that was back in 2002, 2003, when I went to the shelter system with my mom. Like, my brothers, like, like, we went through this stuff. So to me, it was like, no, I don't want to put my child through that. And again, because I had the idea of how things were still the way that they were before. So it was either that, the shelter system, or the moving back to Delaware. And then at that time, I was okay because I was still pregnant. I had, like, I think about, like, a month and a half, and I figured, by that time, I was settled, the baby was gonna be born and stuff. So I was okay going through the process, because the issue is the process is the one that is, like, the hardest part to do. So I was okay with just starting the process, because my baby was still in my womb. You know what I mean? For me, it was more like, okay, we're going through it, but my baby's not physically out here experiencing it, or, like, being in these conditions and stuff. So, but no, my husband didn't want to put me through that, going to the shelter system and do all that. So we just decided to move to Delaware State. We went. My sister rented me a room, and I was there for, like, 6 months. I got out of there. I got my own apartment. My husband was working. We were settled. Like, we were good. We were good. Until, again, when my husband lost his job and stuff. Like, that's when things got rough for us. But that's how our first pregnancy went. My baby, she's so smart. She's 5 years old now. And, like, wow, I cannot believe how she is in full-time school now. She's in 4K for the moment. She'll be going to kindergarten. She'll be going into kindergarten, and she is, like, very bougie. She is very sassy. Her personality, like, I freaking love it. But she does try me, like, she does. It's crazy. Like, I am experiencing teenager stuff that I thought that, it's not her time yet, but kids could be a little something else. it could be a little something else, but she's a great sister. She loves caring for her sister and her brother, especially her baby brother. I mean, we're like all over that baby, and it's just like a full of emotion. It's so full of emotions right now with her being 5 years old. It's like, wow, you know, she's like my first baby. I learned everything that I know, you know, with my other two, because she was my first top person. Like, you know, she taught me how to be a mom. Like, we grew up together. Like, you know, she's my child, my lovely, my princess. And I just was really emotional on her birthday because we were sick again. Like, you know, we couldn't like celebrate it as we had already planned to do all this stuff, but again, we couldn't make it happen. We did it after, like, this past Sunday we took her to Chuck E. Cheese's, and now this Saturday coming up we're gonna celebrate her big birthday party with family and stuff. And but yeah, my baby, she is 5 years old. It's so emotional because I can't believe it's been 5 years into raising that stage. Like, she's coming out of that little baby child stage, you know. Like, I see her, of course she's still a small kid and stuff, but like, she is grown. My baby, my little princess. And everything with her was so good, you know. Of course, she was my first child, my first love out of my three children, and it's always special, you know, like I'm telling you. And then I remember like being so eager for her to like grow up, because I just couldn't like wait to see the new milestones she'll be able to do, all this good stuff. And now it's like I want her to stop growing. I want her to stop growing. And then with my second child, I wanted her to grow because she was in this freaking crying phase. Like, she's still in her crying phase here and there, and she gets crazy. She's only a toddler, so she's right now doing her terrible twos. Not so much anymore, but yeah, she turned 3. But she was like a whole different level of things. Like, I'm telling you, if you've watched me before, if you go back to my videos, you know how that baby like made me wanna like shut down and like not have any kids at all. Like, I was okay with my freaking 2 little girls, cause she made me not wanna like freaking crave no more fucking babies. But my healing process went well with her. I had freaking baby fever again, and my freaking third baby was planned. Obviously I planned my baby, but it came sooner than expected. Okay, and I'll talk about that in another freaking video, because I'm telling you, I've been gone like this freaking whole year on the YouTube, but because yo, things just been going back to back and fucking crazy, and I am still not done. It's just fucking crazy. But yeah, I just wanted to come up here and show you how my motherhood is going. I am a mother of 3 now, and obviously like all of my 3 different babies have different personalities. Like I just know they have different needs of different child ages, you know. um, but definitely my first baby was very special, like all my other 2 babies, you know. But your first child, I feel like it's blooming and everything. At least for that was my experience, because I also know other people's experience and other moms that their first child, it wasn't what they expected it to be, what they thought, or that they'll get the postpartum depression on the first child. And sometimes, I'm telling you, it takes away a lot of memories, a lot of moments with your baby when you get into that deep postpartum depression. With her, I believe, like, at least I thought that I didn't get postpartum depression. Like, I think I got it after like when she was a year old. That's when I had like a mild, like, I think I was starting to get postpartum depression, just because obviously I owned only one car in Delaware, and my husband would take it to work, so I would be in the apartment complex, locked up with my baby all day, every day. We will only go out on weekends when we do grocery shopping, when we do food shopping, or we go run errands and like just go out as a family and hang out. But it will only always be on weekends where my husband didn't work. And other than that, like I was just stuck home with her. It was just me and her. We had no socializing people environment, like none of that. Like I didn't have none of that up from her newborn stage up to, I would say, like a year already. Like when I moved back to New York, which was like a year and 3 months when we like moved back. But throughout those times, like it was very depressing for me. Like, I was just there with my little baby and child, and yes, I was happy being with her and interacting with her. Like, oh my god, I have lots of videos and lots of pictures with my baby growing up and everything. Um, but again, like that really like affected me. So then I needed to do something. Like, I've always been productive either I was in school, and then I went back to school. I went back to Delaware Tech College to finish my degree, because like I said, I didn't graduate because of these courses that was added. So then I tried to finish it while I was over there, and I did evening classes. So when my husband came from work, that's when I would go to school in the afternoon, like late evenings classes. And it didn't work out because I had already done most of my college credits and courses over here in New York, and they didn't want to accept all my courses, like my credits. They didn't want to accept it, so technically I had to do everything all over. And I did classes all over again, like psychology classes. Okay. No, because if you make a mess, yeah, right here, you're gonna be good. And that's what happened. I repeated many courses and stuff. Like one semester I did everything all over again, but then I was like, you know what, like I am not gonna like waste my time and do all this thing all over, like, and waste money, waste my tuition money, waste my financial aid money into something that I already did. And I was like, no, I'm not gonna do another freaking whole 2 years. Like that's not about to happen. Like I'm not gonna go through that. So then I didn't sign up for the following semester, because again, at this time my husband had lost his job, a lot of things were going on, and I just didn't want to stress myself upon with going to school while my husband's been unemployed and everything. I did found a Head Start program for my little baby. Like I had these nurses come into the home and showing me how to do classes together for parents and children, for me to learn how to stimulate their muscles, how to like do all their milestones. It was very good and informative. So I've always been an advocate for like taking programs for doing these things and that. So then I slowly started to like do that, and then this is where like I felt like, okay, like this was helping me, because now I was interacting with someone. I was talking to another freaking adults other than my little baby. So that's what I was doing. And then I found out in the Head Start, where in the apartment complex where I used to live, there was a Head Start there where I could have taken my child and socialize with her age group. So that's what I'll do. And since it was like walking distance, like I didn't have a car because I lived, behind my apartment complex was the center. So I just had to literally cross like one street, and that was about it. And that's what I spent my days in. I was able to learn and interact with more moms. um, I reunited with one of my high school friends over there, that she worked there in the Head Start program. And it was really cool. Like it was me, I felt very good. I was going to do the course for what is it called, the CDA course, for free, that they were going to offer me, and do this certification program with them. And then obviously, but then I didn't end up doing that program, because that's when we decided to move back to New York, because my husband couldn't find a job and stuff, and things got really rough for us, and our lease had ended there, and we had no debt and anything, but we were just really afraid into renewing and not being able to afford and pay our rent. So, and then plus, like, my mother-in-law wasn't there around to like help me with the baby if I needed to work or needed to do stuff. And again, like, we didn't want to originally move over there. We were just like kind of in a way forced to go, and being there, it was really depressing. It was just like so sad, and we just wanted to come back to New York. Like, our desire was just to come back, and that's what we did. I can't give you water, mama, because you're gonna make a mess. The baby's waking up. Yeah. It's gonna fall. And that's what happened with my child and our family at that time, in that moment, back in 2018, 2019. So, overall, my experience with motherhood with my baby, it's been very, like, has been very smooth. Right now, I am experiencing some challenges because, again, she's now has a strong personality. She is now like learned who she is. Like, I've also been able to learn and observe how her personality is, how things are going, and with me trying to educate her and being the best mom possible. Um, and some days are hard, like I said, some days are very hard, some days are okay, they're smooth. But overall, my baby has been my biggest blessing. Um, I wouldn't ever change anything for the world. My children, I love all three of my children. And I feel like whatever obstacles or challenge I go through with them is a lesson learned for me and things like that. And also, I feel very, very empowered into talking and speaking about it, like wow, and also the bad stuff, like I said, like, there's been hard days. It's hard, raising a little child. But the good always outweighs the bad, and like that's the way I learned to think about life and about my daily motherhood lifestyle. And my baby, like, that's what she is. Like, she's so special to me, my 5-year old. And I just can't believe, like, wow, it's been 5 years. 5 years I've been into the game of motherhood, and I have a long way to go. um yeah, and I'm just very grateful and blessed. So I hope you guys enjoyed this story time. um Wait, oh yeah, like my birth story with her was very quick and impressive. Yeah, so her birth story with her, um obviously I was saying about the sclerosis thingy, that she was going to be born at 37 weeks if that was the case. But thankfully, thank God, the test that they did came back negative, so I wasn't rushed into having her, being born before time. And my due date for her was March 10th, 2018, and she was born on March 9th, 2018. She was born at 6:21 a.m. I remember on the March 7th, my mom came from Delaware State. Like, obviously, she had asked for 2 weeks vacation because she wanted to be at the birth with me, and like being able to take care of me for those 2 weeks. Even though my plan was like moving back to Delaware after those 2 weeks, I was gonna move back with her. She was gonna bring me back home with my baby and my husband and stuff. So, um, she came, and she came on March 7th, and it was a very snowstorm. Like, I remember it was a big snowstorm that happened that year. It was very cold, and I was just there on March 8th, like March 8th in the afternoon. Well, like, it was March 9. No, yeah, it was March 8th. It was March 8th. Um, my mom didn't. She was already in New York, but she was staying with my aunts because again, like, I lived with my mother-in-law, and there was no space for her to stay with me at my mother-in-law's house. So she always slept over at my aunt's house, and she would just go visit me throughout the daytime, or I'll go to her and stuff like that. That's how our visitations came about to be. Um, so then that day, like, it was a very big snowstorm, and the good thing that she came the day before than originally March 8th because of the snowstorm blizzard that was going on. So she got really lucky. She was like, oh, good thing I came sooner because, you know, I was going to get stuck up in the snow driving and all that stuff. So we were like, okay, great. Thank you. You know, you made it. You're here already and stuff. So on March 8th, in the like at 3 in the morning, because I was so used to my schedule was always sleeping late. Being with my husband, we always stayed up and watch movies, and you know, like we've always slept late. So obviously my pregnancy got used to that. The baby got used to that schedule I was going about. And at 3 in the morning, I remember like I was gonna go to sleep because we had just finished watching a movie, and it was really late, and I went to use the bathroom. Again, all this time I'm having contractions, but I've always called them Braxton Hicks because to me, I've never experienced them that as painful. Like for me to like literally like cry and stop and be like, okay, I need to go to labor and delivery now. Like no, like for me, I'm very tolerant with the contractions and pain, and then I call it Braxton Hicks when they're actually contractions. But so I've been experiencing that like for the past like 2 3 weeks, you know, whatever. And then but then again, like I was getting more nervous because of the dates. Like I was like, okay, you know, we're like 2 days into like labor because my due date was March 10. So my head and my mindset was March 10, you know, was like my markdown. Like, okay, it's go time, like we're having the baby, like, oh my god. So then that day, it was 3 in the morning, so it was technically already like what, like March 8th, yeah, March 7th to March 8th, 3 in the morning. um I had bleeding and spotting because my mucus plug broke. So once I saw that my mucus plug broke, you know, obviously my OB/GYN doctor told me, once you see this, this is a sign that labor is starting, like you're in labor, like, you know. So then that happened, and then I got really freaking nervous and anxious. Like I was like, oh my god, it's happening because my freaking mucus plug broke and everything. My husband got really nervous. We were freaking nerve-wracking. But I was keeping it calm, and he was more like, okay, do you want to go to the hospital now? Like, we should go. Let's go. Are you okay? This and that. And I was like, no, like, I don't want to go to the doctor once I feel that I can really handle contractions no more. Like, you know, like what you see in the freaking movies and on TV, like until you freaking desperately freaking pain. Like, that's when I wanted to go to the freaking doctor, because I've seen so many times that my sister has been brought back because she couldn't dilate. Yeah, she couldn't dilate because with her 3 children, like she's always had issues opening up and dilating, no matter how much like she's walked and don't stop. So me watching that, like for my first child, I took walking very seriously and squatting and doing exercises because it helps and loosens your hips and body to get ready for freaking labor. And like I said, labor has been my biggest fear, and I was just like in freaking shock mode. Like I was doing everything, you name it, freaking yoga. I want to do. I went to the birthing classes that the hospital provides for you to learn about labor and like techniques and all this stuff to handle like the pain contractions of labor and to know the stages of labor. So I was doing everything, you know. Me and my husband were always there. We were getting informed. Obviously, me getting physical. Okay, it's fine. Getting the physical movements going on for like real labor. But so then this happens, and my husband is put a little bit more volume though. And my husband was more like panicking, you know. He's like, okay, it's time. You want to go to the doctor? You want to go to? And I'm like, no. I was just like freaking shutting down, like into saying like, no, I don't want to go. Not yet. It's not time. I am not gonna go. Like I said, until like I really freaking have to crawl or something to like walk. I took a hot shower. At that time, I was controlling contractions, and I was still having contractions, but they were not as painful. So again, this was at 3 in the morning. So I was handling good. I didn't sleep that day, but I was resting. Like I was laying down and like nothing. I don't know what was I thinking, you know, like a thing. I mean, it was just my body because I was comfortable because I was well informed. I was, you know, Googling everything up, like saying like, no, we're good. And then I came at 7:20 in the morning. I called my mom to let her know how I had already spotted and that my mucus plug broke and that I just needed to wait because it happened at 3 a.m. Obviously, I was gonna wake her up at that time and be like, okay, let's get to the hospital. Like, no, I told her, no, I don't want, thank you. No, I don't want, mama, thank you. Um, and I just waited for like morning for the sunlight to come out, like the sun to be up and everything, and it was 7:20 when I called her. So then she got ready. She got to my mother-in-law's house. She got there like around 8:30 or like 9. We were just really chilling. I had breakfast. My mom did me some teas, like cumin teas, which is to start labor. Like it frequently really helps you and pushes to help you like into labor for the baby to like come out faster and stuff. All these freaking Mexican hacks and myths and whatever the fuck. So she gave me freaking teas. I drank that shit because I was freaking scared of fucking labor. So the disgustingness and bitterness of the freaking tea, like it was so bitter, but I didn't care. And I'm a person like I throw up and I do all these freaking faces. Like if I something I don't like, if I smell it, I am not gonna drink that shit. But because of this was labor, and I'm like, my mom knows best. She freaking had 4 children. She helped my sister with all the 3 children. So it was my turn now. It's like freaking go time. And like I said, I wanted it to be freaking quick and thingy because I was freaking scared of freaking labor and I just wanted it happening. Of course, I wanted my baby out and I wanted to like stop, being in pain and all that stuff. So I did everything my mom said. Like I drank the tea, then we went walking to the hospital. I got there like about, I want to say like around 11 to the hospital, and then I'm there like being the most chill person. Like we're walking to the hospital to get me stimulating to keep on walking. I was walking up in the fucking snow. Obviously my husband and my mom were holding me to the like don't freaking fall. The hospital's walking distance from my home. It still is. So we went walking and then I go into labor and delivery and they're like, okay, what are you here for today? And then I tell them my due date is tomorrow, March 10, but my mucus plug broke and I came to get checked in. I wanted to see how much I dilated and like, what's the process now because my freaking mucus plug broke, and my doctor did said, once your mucus plug breaks, come into the hospital, get checked, and you most likely you'll be admitted and whatever. So I go into the little triage room and then they wait me and everything and do my vitals and whatever, and then I get on the gown and then they checking my cervix to see how much if I've opened up or dilated. And girl, like I was already 2.5 centimeters dilated. I was like, what? Yeah. And then I was like, okay, so now I and then they're like, okay, so they sent me home because I was only like 2.5 dilated. And then they're like, you're gonna come back later in the afternoon. They gave me an appointment. You're gonna come back like around, I think, what time they said? At 5:30 to go and get admitted, because they're like, by the time by the end of the day, you're gonna be probably dilated more. So that's where you're gonna be admitted. And the doctor told me right there, she's like, I'm like, but I'm having the baby today, like today, March 8, because at the time it's still March 8. And then they're like, yeah, you're having either the baby tonight or tomorrow earliest morning, but the baby's coming out. It's coming out. It's gonna come out. And I'm like, okay. And then this is when it got real. Okay, so take it out. And this is where like all this shit is like confirmed and everything. I was nervous and scared. I was like, oh my god, it's happening. But of course I went back. I didn't go home. My husband went home and slept because we didn't sleep the night before, because I was in contractions and he was just up with me and everything. And then he was tired and he went home and sleep, and I did not. My mom bought some chicken because she wanted to cook me some chicken broth soup with veggies. It was really cold, so we're like, she was gonna cook, so we got the chicken, a live chicken. Well, obviously they killed it because fuimos al vivero. What do you call this? The rooster place, the poultry. the poultry. So when you get your fresh chicken and they kill it in the spot and everything. So that's what we did. My mom got the chicken and we stopped to the grocery, um, the supermarket to get all the veggies for the chicken soup. Stop, mama. Go. Yeah, sorry guys. My child came back from school, so I have all three children now. The baby's up and awake. But anyway, yeah. So that's what happened, and then we sent my husband with the shopping. He went home for my suegra, like my mother-in-law, to get the chicken cooked and ready. While me, and my mom, we went to my godmother's house. Like we're there, like visiting my godmother. Because obviously my mom is from Delaware, so when she comes, she likes to visit her family, friends, and whatever. Y pues yo being with my mom, I like some little chisme, like I like being, being all there, like being out and about. So we go and have breakfast or like lunch at this time. We went to have lunch at my grandmother's house. My husband didn't want to come with, so we sent him home with the groceries. And I told him, like, get the chicken started so we could go eat dinner or something. So I was here and there with the still contractions on and off, and I'm there like walking. So we went walking to my grandmother's house that lived around the area. So we get there and we're chilling, talking, and then I'm there rocking myself. Like obviously once I get contractions, I was really painful. I was swaying side to side, walking, squatting, doing the breathing, and then I'm just there. Up on my day, we finished our visit, we went back home, we went walking, me and my mom home. We got home, and then I still ate my freaking chicken soup because the doctors, like I've been told that they don't let you eat nothing. You could be starving and you're not allowed to eat. Once you get admitted, you're not allowed to eat. So I'm like, I am not gonna go have this baby with like starving. Well, by this time it was dinner time, so I ate. I had my chicken soup, and it was delicious. And for all three of my babies, I freaking ate before going to the hospital and being admitted. Okay, so I know I did not throw up. No, I didn't throw up or poop on myself. Too much info, but anyway, yeah, that's what happened. So I ate, and then there we go again, walking again with my husband and my mom, because they were the only two persons that were gonna be in the labor and delivery room. Of course, my mom, and then my husband. My husband, of course, first of all, and my mom, And we go back to the hospital, and we get admitted because I get checked again. And then I told them, I was here earlier, but they told me to come back and get checked for my dilation.
If you wanted to check our channel, make sure to subscribe and click on the bell button.
You heard that right. That's my baby telling you guys, subscribe, hit the like button if you enjoyed this video, and if you didn't enjoy it, still subscribe, because the next one you're probably gonna enjoy it and like it. Okay, so keep in touch with me. Yes, I know. I'm already letting them know, my baby. That's my 5-year-old. And what happened next? Oh, then I go back and I go and tell them, oh, they told me to come back and get checked because I came in this morning and I was already 2.5 centimeters open and dilated, so I wanted to get checked. Obviously contractions were like, coming back to back now. Like things were already stirring up. Labor was already happening. And then I got checked, and then guess what? I was 5.5 centimeters dilated open. Yep, in that amount of hours, I was already 5.5. I was like, woo. They're like, okay, good. And then I get admitted, like, okay, I get in my room. They put me into the room, and we're just there waiting until I opened until the 10 centimeters dilation. And I was opening fast, and at this point I didn't get the epidural until like, I believe I was already like 7 centimeters dilated open. And the only reason why I got it was because I was getting scared. The nurse was scaring me because I was there already all day, all night. This is already March 8, No, it was already like March 9 already, but like at 12 at midnight, like 1 in the morning. And then they're like, are you sure you don't want to get the epidural and stuff? Because I felt like I was handling the pain very well. Um, but they scared me. My mom scared me, and the nurses scared me because they're like, you've been here for hours, and like you've been really doing a really good job. And you're a first-time mom. They were so impressed with me. I was quiet. I was there. I wasn't really complaining much, and because I really didn't feel, like all this stuff. So then they started scaring me because they're like, okay, you're 7 centimeters dilated now. If you don't get the epidural now, like it was gonna be too late later on. You won't be able to get it. But obviously, I didn't know what to expect, what was gonna happen. But I got freaking scared, bitch. Like the fucking they freaking scared me. And my mom is like, oh yeah, you really should take it because you're gonna get tired and like we don't know and whatever and the pain. And again, I'm not pain tolerant, or that's all I thought. So I got scared, and then I got the epidural. I'm like, okay, fine. I'm like, what the fuck? Like what? Um, I think that the thing that they made me like kind of take and get the epidural was because at 6 centimeters, 6.5 centimeters, they broke my water. They broke my water, and I freaking screamed my lungs out because that shit fucking hurts. If you had your water breaking, with the little freaking little hook thingy that looks like a freaking crochet hook, bitch, that shit hurts like fuck. Like, oh my god, I heard the tear part when they broke my bag, my amniotic sac, when they broke my water. And that was like so fucking painful. And I was like, oh my god. So then I guess that's what I thought, because it's like, if that was just like breaking my amniotic sac, like what the fuck? I'm gonna have a freaking full ass baby coming out of me, giving birth, pushing a baby out. So I got freaking scared. I panicked a little bit, and I was like, okay, let me just get it. So I got the epidural, and then I was just there chilling. I was able to rest. I was able to sleep. I took advantage of that, of the pain medication that I was given with the epidural. Um, and I was able to rest and relax for a little bit. And then at 5:20, my baby was already ready to be born. Okay, at 5:20, I woke up because I felt and I heard my freaking, hoo-ha get up to the freaking 10 centimeters dilation. And then I just started like freaking gushing blood. I thought I peed on myself. I thought it was peed because I was asleep, and then I just, out of nowhere, I felt like I heard a snap, like a snap, and then I was freaking gushing. And I thought I peed on myself. I was like, oh my god, what's happening? Like I woke up like freaking scared, and I asked my husband, I'm like, am I peeing? Like, am I peeing on myself? Like, my water broke or whatever. I was like freaking confused, right? So then he looks under the covers, and then he's like, no, you're gushing blood, like you're gushing. And I was like, oh my god, oh my god. Like I freaking knew I dilated to 10 centimeters. And then I told him, go let the doctors know. I'm like, I'm ready. Like I told them, I'm already dilated to freaking 10 centimeters. Like, come on, it's time. It's time. I don't know how. I don't know how I knew this. I guess I was so educated. Like I was watching a lot of freaking YouTube videos. Not. I wasn't watching YouTube videos because I didn't want to scare myself for labor and stuff. But I knew deep, like I knew I was freaking dilated 10 centimeters. And I told them, okay, go let them know that I am fully dilated now, like the baby's coming. Because I felt the pressure, I felt her head, like the pressure and the contractions. And I was like, okay, go get it with the doctors, I am ready. So like the baby's coming out. It was 5:20 a.m. when she woke me up because she was ready to be born. So he goes to let them know, and then they come and check me, and then they tell me that the doctor is attending a C-section, so that I had to wait for the doctor. They're like, well, can you wait and whatever? And I'm like, okay, fine. And I'm there in bed just chilling. Of course, I had the freaking epidural. But I did feel the pressure, and I felt the gushing thingy out, and then I just heard like my freaking like I'm telling you, like freaking crack like that, like a snap. Obviously, it was my opening, my freaking pelvic bone was opened, and and that's what happened. And then the doctor came. They were preparing everything to receive the baby. I saw the little bassinet, they're bringing it. I was like, oh my god, it's happening. It's like fucking real. And then they're like freaking pushing, but I couldn't push because I couldn't feel contractions. I didn't feel contractions because I've been on the epidural for a couple hours now. and I couldn't feel the contractions. I felt pressure and stuff, and it's like I kind of had to like in my head like play it like when I would feel these pressures because I'll have contractions to help it push. But obviously, when you're first time mom, like you can't like you don't know how to like freaking push. They tell you like push like from your waist down, not from your face. Like don't get your face red. And I was doing my face like freaking red because I couldn't feel freaking contractions or like the urges to like so then I got scared and I freaking reacted and then I freaking panicked and I was praying because they were saying like if you can really feel it, if you can push it, we're gonna have to wean you off the epidural. Okay, give me a second. And they told me that they're like we're gonna have to wean it off and we have to wait, and then like you're really gonna feel the whole freaking shit. And I was like, oh hell no. I got scared. I was like, no, no, no. And then I was praying. I was like, oh God, please, please, please help me concentrate. Help me like push my baby out. Like I do not want to feel like trust me. I did not want to learn the pain of labor right there on my first baby. and and then like I calmed myself down and then like I said I did this breathing mechanism and then I kind of like in a way learned my body's cues of like when it was time to like freaking push, like when I was getting the contraction because I didn't feel a contraction and my legs were freaking numb. I didn't feel my legs are freaking heavy. Again, for that pregnancy, my first baby, I went up to like 127 pounds. 127 pounds. So I was like really chunky, like really good for my lifestyle that I've been used to, been on there 95 pounds. And I went to 127 through my whole full term pregnancy with her. Um, so it was heavy. I had weight on me. I was not on my legs and it just felt very heavy. My mom and my husband were assisting into holding my legs up and everything. And then I had to really concentrate like that and push my baby up. And then after I pushed my baby out, in 3 pushes she was out. And I didn't feel it. I had one stitch only because obviously I haven't had a freaking baby my whole fucking life, so that one stitch was just a little tear because I had a baby out. And that was the story when my baby was born, my freaking birth and labor and delivery story. She was born at 6:21 a.m. My baby girl. She was the most beautiful thingy. But I didn't break. I felt very devastated because I didn't cry when she was born. You know how moms initially, instantly, once they have their babies in their chest and like, like emotionally, they're like, oh, my baby, like, they're finally born after all the hard labor work you do and stuff. But like I said, I've been a person, like, I feel like my emotions freeze when I'm so in shock. Like it's like whoa, and I didn't get that feeling until 3 in the afternoon that day. It was when I broke with my baby where I bonded. I felt like it freaking sunk in until like freaking 3 in the afternoon, and I was like, oh my baby, like oh my gosh, like I freaking gave birth to her, like, and I was crying like a freaking baby with my baby in my arms. And it was so emotional, but I was being so hard on myself because I was like, why am I not crying? Obviously I feel overjoyed and overwhelmed because my baby's born and everything, but I wasn't crying. And I wanted to like freaking cry right there. Like I wanted to like freaking hold my baby. I mean, I did hold my baby and stuff, but I didn't tear, I didn't cry. I don't know why. It was a special moment where I was just by myself with my newborn baby in the room because my mom had gone to the house to get my hospital bag, and my husband had left to go get me some food for me to be eating and stuff, and I was just by myself in the room when it hit me, and then it was just a bonding moment for me and my daughter. So beautiful. Yeah, and that's my story, you guys, for my firstborn. That was my pregnancy journey with her. Everything's so smooth, so good. Freaking labor. A champ. I was a freaking champ, but I had a very good experience. The second and the third, it was when complications happened with my second baby that you guys know about already. And if you haven't watched that video, go back and watch my postpartum story and my labor and delivery for my second child. And yeah, you guys, on the next one, I'm gonna be talking about my third child. You heard that right, my third baby. Dad, oh my god, crazy. Look at him. He's already 6 months old. Can you guys believe that? 6 months into postpartum. Wow, time really do fly. So thank you guys for listening to me. Thank you for clicking this video. If you like it, please hit a big thumbs up. If you want to comment anything you want to know or have any questions, please let me know. And like my child said, please subscribe and share my videos so our family can keep on growing. And we'll see you on the next one. Bye.